Hello there, Dharmendra. The recording is started, and for the benefit of the viewers, some of them who would like to work with you, please introduce yourself. Let us know what is it that you do, and how is it that people can reach you in case if they want to take your services.
Opportunity. My name is Dharmendra K. Kanani. I'm the small business owner. The name of my company is Dharma Photo Film. I used to work with a magazine called High Blitz, Cine Blitz, OK India, and High Living. All these magazines were in-house magazines for Kingfisher in flight. As everybody know that Kingfisher has shut down, so also my magazine is closed. And now I have started freelancing as a photographer and the filmmaker. My specialization in photography is shooting editorial portraits. Most of the time I used to shoot only celebrity, but now, of course, every person, I make them feel celebrity uh, and make them comfortable in front of the camera. Also, I shoot candid weddings or any event, but my style is a very much candid. Um, so I love people, so I only shoot people. I'm a qualified photographer. I've done my master's from Shari Academy, specialized in people and product photography, but most of the time, 99%, I shoot people. To connect me or to collaborate with me, my telephone number is 70 455 30 455. My email address is Dharmendra Kanani, DHARMENDRAKANANI @gmail.com. On my Instagram, I have my page handle as Dharma Photo Film. Also, I have the same name for my Facebook page also as Dharma Photo Film. My website is under the name of dharmendrakanani.com, but very soon I'll be getting my new website designed with the same name of Dharma Photo Film. We are designing it, so it's not active yet, but very soon I'll be there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dharmendra. That was really nice knowing you. I'm sure that there are people listening to this hearing and viewing this video who would want to connect with you for doing business together or to have employ your candid photography skills to look good during their function. So that's that. Dharmendra, how can I help you today?
As I mentioned, that most of the time I was working for others, especially Kingfisher was a very long period I worked with them as an in-house photographer. So I never thought that I'll be doing a business, but after certain age, when this twist I got in my life, I was forced to start my own business as a freelance photographer. So I don't have any skill of a business. Yeah, but very basic, as I mentioned in my letter. I have done my small homework that what are my investments so far from the beginning till today. Uh, so I know my investment, but there are the certain liabilities which I have to face. These liabilities are difficult to face in terms of business because I don't have a business skill as such. I believe there are certain expertise required to run the business, and I'm not very good in. Mm, Calculating the money part, I'm not so good. Um, there are people who work in the team, so I have approached them also that if I can be a part of their team, but they say that, sir, you are either too overqualified, also we respect your age. So that is the part what I have seen in India. uh, Many a place I have gone outside Bombay or India, where age is not important, but in India I'm facing this serious problem. So being working individually, I'm facing very big problem. As I know, uh, digital technology is also second big competitor that everybody can call themselves a photographer. Of course, what they can't match with me as an individual is my own composition, my skill, my eyes. That nobody can take away. But when we have to meet the client, when we have to quote the client, I'm finding it very, very difficult. So here where your expertise and skill will help me to grow.
All right. So there are two things that I hear you say. One, even in your letter that you sent us, one is how do I price myself so that the financial that I do for my business works out to be fine. That's one of your questions, right?
Right.
And the second one is what do I do with the perception in India that I hold because people find me overqualified, and maybe at times they may be assuming, they may not be saying that because you are who you are, your charges are going to be exorbitant, and they may not be able to afford you. So there can the perception. How do you deal with that? So let me answer the first one. Do you have a pen and paper with you? Because the second part of the question will need you to write down.
I'm ready.
Cool. So, Dharmendra, first things first, what is business? Business is all about you or anybody adding value to somebody else's life. Now, when I say value, it needs to be value how the person buying it interprets. So, if I am giving my services to you, it's not how I understand the value of my service, it is how you understand what you are buying. So if I give you that value, the value that you think is a value, and in exchange you give me money, that's where the business is. Okay. So the answer to your the first question, which is how people perceive you, it how people perceive you depends upon how you go about pitching yourself. Now there are two ways in which people work. One is by pitching the product. In this case, you are the product. So if people see you as an expert without which things can't happen, then people are going to counter on your age, your experience, and their assumption that you may turn out to be expensive. So you have to pitch it differently. You don't have to focus on yourself as a product, but you want to focus and talk about the value that you can give. So you don't want to say, okay, buy into Dharmendra. No, you want to change your pitch into buy into candid photography. And candid photography means XYZ. Candid photography looks good because of XYZ elements. Photography done in this way is the best way to do photography. So talk about all of those things. Talk about why would a photograph look good if done in a certain way. Of course, now because you are writing all of this, people will see you as an expert to get the value, and the value is that beautiful looking photograph. So talk about the photograph, don't talk about yourself. You are somebody who is processing, that journey to reach that end benefit, the benefit of a good photograph. So don't pitch yourself, pitch the value. If you pitch that, chances are people will not think of who is going to execute that, but what is it that they are going to get and for which they are paying. It's a very small change, but it's a very big change in the way people are going to think while signing up with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So
now coming to the you have a question asked.
So you mean to say that when we are giving introduction, whether it is written as a PDF or meeting the client first time, or somebody person whom with I am going to be collaborating with, when they see me personally, you think that avoiding the personal meetings and Zoom meetings, or
No.
when how you how you want me to speak the value about my photograph and not much about me.
So it's like this. See, when we do YouTube, have you gone to my Facebook group, by the way?
No, I've seen your videos on your website.
Okay, on my website. So we have a
Yeah,
Facebook group, we have a Facebook page, we have a YouTube channel. Okay, a lot of people
right,
see these videos and they come to us.
right.
Now, when they see these videos, what are they learning? They are learning about the subject that I'm talking about. And therefore they come to us. When they come to us and they buy into my service, I'm not talking about why I am the person who's an expert on the subject. There are two ways of pitching. One is I tell you, Dharmendra, I am going to do this for you, so hire me. The other is this subject, if done and implemented in your business, you will do well. I'm choosing to not focus on myself. I'm choosing to focus on the subject. So I'm going to say, if your pricing is done in this fashion, you will be able to have a nice business which is making enough revenue. This is one way of pitching. Now, when I say this, your focus is going to be on the method and not on who is conducting that method. I'm still meeting you.
Yeah.
But I'm making you focus on the method instead of the person adopting that method to give you the benefit. Now, once I do this, if you're convinced about the method, then it doesn't matter whether I'm going to do it or somebody else is going to do it for you. As long as the method gets deployed in your company, you are fine.
Okay.
Okay. So eliminate yourself from the sales pitch. Don't say, Dharmendra has so many years of experience, therefore you should work with me. No. You should talk about what makes up for a good photograph. Like I do when in the YouTube videos, like this video, all that I'm doing is I'm showcasing my ability to solve business problems. But what I'm focusing on is the method of solving problems. I'm not talking about work with me. I did not introduce myself.
Right.
Okay. So if somebody wants to use what I'm saying, they can come to me, but they will buy what I'm saying, not me and my time and my service.
Right.
So there's a very small change in the way you put things across that will change the way people. Objections are going to be there, but the objection is not going to be, oh, you're very elder and you're overqualified and stuff like that. No, it doesn't matter if even if you're overqualified. If I'm buying a specific thing from you, I'm paying for that thing. I'm not paying for your age or your whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. Coming to the second portion, which is how do you price? Okay, which
very
is
difficult. Very difficult.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you a mathematical formula for it. Okay,
Right.
it will make it easier for you to hunt for yourself instead of getting a ready-made answer from anyone. Okay, and there is no ready-made answer.
I understand.
So there are three levers that you got to consider when you are thinking of pricing. Okay, first one is your cost.
Which I have
Second,
mentioned to you.
yeah, I'm coming to that. I'll give you the breakup of what I mean by cost also.
Okay.
The first one is cost. Second one is volume, which is how many transactions can you do.
Correct.
Okay. Third one, which is the most important one, is the perceived value for your service in the mind of the customer. Okay. Now let me explain you this perceived value in the mind of the customer a little bit. Imagine you got to clean your office. Okay. So you would buy a broom, you will buy a detergent, you will buy maybe a cloth, and all of these three things combined will cost you an X price. But the moment you buy a person who will use these items and cleaning services, it will cost you at least 4 to 5 times more than the broom, the cloth, and the detergent.
Right.
The end result that you're getting is still a clean office. So the end result does not change. But the perceived value of somebody doing the cleaning work for you is far higher than you buying individual products alone. So people are willing to pay a premium for something that they consider is worth paying the premium. Okay. So it's important to understand what is the perceived value in the mind of the customer for the kind of photography that you're going to do. So if you ask me, I'm obviously not an expert at photography businesses, but if you ask me today, I'm a Gujarati, and there are different levels of Gujarati weddings that happen, right? If there is a lower middle class Gujarati wedding that is happening, the perceived value of a photographer is very, very low, because then people would choose a photographer who's also a videographer.
Right.
There is no need of candidates there. People are going to just stand up on the stage, smile, and this guy is going to click a photo. All photos look alike. Only the subjects change.
Yeah.
But the moment you go a little up, you suddenly find the need of candid photography and stuff like that. You go a little higher, and then people will say, okay, I want to have a pre-shoot, I want to have a post-shoot, post-wedding shoot, and stuff like that. Right?
Yeah.
So the requirement changes, and it changes with the perceived value that people have in their minds about the photography that they are going to purchase. Right. I know somebody who's a paintographer. So all that she does as a profession is paints on the photograph, and people buy that for ₹1 lakh.
Right.
Now, if you ask some of my friends who don't appreciate that art form, in their minds, they would not pay even ₹100 for that. They say, okay, photograph mein paint kiya, usme kaun si badi baat hai? It's still a photograph, right?
Yeah.
But then there are a set of people who appreciate that art, and therefore their perceived value for that item is far greater than otherwise. Yeah. So here I'm talking about two things. Who is going to perceive the value of what kind of service that you are going to give?
Right.
And you got to run behind those guys to get the best amount, because the amount that you will get paid is only the amount that people perceive to be okay to pay for what they are buying, and not what you decide. Yeah. So now what is turnover? Let me before the turnover get into the cost. So what are the costs that you're going to consider? I spoke about three things: cost, volume, and perceived value.
Yeah.
Okay. Cost, you can break it into three broad categories. Cost of customer acquisition. Okay. So now I said you got to find out people who have the right kind of perceived value for what you offer, and they're ready to pay a substantial amount for your art. So what is the cost to acquire such customers on a consistent basis? Which could be the cost of you marketing your photographs, putting it on Instagram, publishing it, maybe meeting a lot of other people who are wedding planners and who are into photography and working as a team, and maybe signing up with some modeling agency, maybe signing up and meeting some YouTubers, who are into the fashion kind of YouTube and taking their photographs for Insta. All of this is going to be, there is going to be some cost, right?
Right.
So customer acquisition is one type of cost. Okay. The second type of cost is operations, which is when you actually go about doing your project. What is the kind of cost you incur while doing that? The third part of the cost is compliance, which is to run your business. You will need CAs. You will need to do your accounts. You possibly may need to do some amount of agreement, so legal. So all of those costs are compliance costs. Now, if you look at what I just said, I haven't involved the capital cost in this at all. Why? Because that's a one-time cost that you make in your company, and then you redo that cost when the depreciation arrives and it becomes zero.
Correct.
But on an ongoing basis, when you're considering pricing in your mind, you should be taking into account your customer acquisition, operations, and compliance costs. If you combine all three of it, you will get the total cost that you will incur. And this is time bound. So in a month's time, or in a quarter's time, or in a 6 months time, you decide.
It's only 90 days in a year. practically looking, it's only 90 days because the season of wedding is 90 days in the year. And if you're getting anything above 90 days, it's your bonus.
Yeah, so again, like I said, you may want to figure out what is it that you do well, and who is going to be appreciating that art form, and is that seasonal in nature? If yes, then what do you do in the off season?
Right.
Because a very, very healthy business is a business that does very high volume and continues to remain in the season, but earns enough for the rainy days, which is off season, or
Correct.
a business that does not have seasonality in play at all. So if you are going in the seasonal market, then your perceived value for what you do has to be significantly higher.
Correct. And that's where I'm facing the problem. That's where
Yeah.
exactly
So
because those who people have a team, those who have in-house people, they get the pricing very, very low. And as an individual, when you go and meet the client, somewhere you feel that you are charging high. That's what perceived value, what you are saying. The customer feel that, oh, you are charging high.
correct, correct. So let's look at all the three components in parts, and you will understand what I'm saying, and you'll get your answer there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cost is customer acquisition, operations, and compliance. You've written that down?
Not exactly word to word. So yeah, if you make it simple, like how you call it, customer cost of
Cost of acquiring a customer,
uh, into bracket all my marketing expenses.
yes, all your marketing and sales expenses. Then cost of operations, which is cost of actually doing the project,
Cost of project doing. Okay.
and cost of compliance,
What do you mean by compliance?
your account, legal,
Okay.
etc. that you do is all compliance.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if you're using equipment
Yeah.
or software to do your marketing, then all of that cost will go into cost of customer acquisition. If you're using equipment, like in your case, you'd be using cameras, light, editing software, all of that goes into your operation.
The first
Okay.
one. Yeah.
No, the first one was cost of customer acquisition. So
Um,
if you're using social media ads, for example,
right.
or if you're using a LinkedIn paid account, for example,
Correct.
then that will go into customer acquisition cost.
Okay.
If you're using cameras, lights, which you are using,
Yeah.
then that will be your operations cost.
Yeah. So all my camera, computer, and softwares,
That will
all
go
that
into
comes
your
in second.
operations cost.
Yeah.
Yes.
Software. Yeah.
Now, the second thing that we want to understand is what is a turnover?
Yeah.
Turnover is volume into multiplied by perceived value per transaction.
Perceive value per transaction is equal to, you
No,
said?
no, no. Turnover
It's a
is
turnover.
equal to perceived
Perceived
value
value.
per transaction multiplied by volume.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what should your profit be or loss be, therefore? The profit or loss is equal to cost minus turnover.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what is the breakup of cost?
That is all my investments.
Correct. Your customer acquisition cost, your operations cost, your compliance cost, minus the turnover.
Okay.
Okay. That will give you whether you are in profit or you're in loss.
Okay. So all about 3 minus my turnover.
Correct.
Okay. And when you say turnover, is the formula you said perceived value per transaction multiplied by volume.
Correct. So now you will get an answer that if you are a loss making company, then you have only so many things that you can work on. Reduce your customer acquisition cost, reduce your operations cost, reduce your compliance cost. And if you can't reduce that, then increase the perceived value or increase the volume.
Okay. See, my second factor, which is a cost of the project doing, has already done. For next 6 months at least, or for 1 year, I'm not going to invest anything new. So whatever is my investment, I have end to it. Except then might be like, say today first time I'm meeting you, we may meet you more, and then the new expenses which take place as in my investment for my future and betterment, or any marketing strategy, maybe LinkedIn or any other social media, paid media, if I have to do that, that are the only chance when it will increase. But otherwise, buying a new thing is not going to be there. So I will try and keep that as less as possible. I can't say I will not do it, but as less as possible. Coming to volume, because I'm considering myself as a new baby in 2020. I'm just started thinking this way. So one is, it is a positive way of thinking that I'm a new child who just graduated, young boy who has to do the business of photography, survive in this business only. And that's why I have to learn marketing also. So right now, I don't have any ready-made clienteles, or I don't have any people where I can go and start doing my business. So for me, even marketing strategy is equally important, that I have to go meet the people and start talking about myself in your manner, the way you said. So volume at the moment, I am zero. I have to start from 0 to 10 to 100.
Yes,
Can you
Dharmendra, carry on. Yeah, I can hear you.
So
Okay.
right now, I'm on the ground floor and I have to start climbing. So
Yeah.
volume
So
wise, I
Dharmendra,
don't know.
yeah, so Dharmendra, what I'll ask you to do is write the actual amounts in this formula.
Hmm.
And you will understand that, okay, customer acquisition cost will be a little higher because right now you don't have a marketing strategy.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So what will happen is you will probably meet 10 people and you will convert maybe one.
Yeah.
Okay, but the moment you start understanding who has the appreciation of your kind of service, you will meet exactly only that kind of person.
Okay.
Which means now you're meeting 10 people, out of which maybe 6 of them were wrong people. Only 4 of them were right, out of which one got converted. Correct? But you still paid money to meet all 10 of them, right?
Yeah.
Now you will meet 10 good people. And if I go by 4:1, which is 25%, out of 10 people, right people that you meet, your conversion will be far higher, no? So that's the advantage that you will start getting.
The problem in my case is because I'm not selling any product. It is purely service. Again, service which is nothing immediately. Say if I'm cutting hair or if I'm doing manicure, pedicure, people want me immediately, maybe not today, within a week. Photography is the business which I'm looking. People are not sure when they need my service. I will knock the door of the 10 people, as you said. We will try from our side that they are the right people, but we don't know who is the right and wrong. So problem which again I will be facing is where we have to go and meet the client, and will they immediately give business in return, or we are just dropping the card or showing the work, and uh, I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
it's very blind game I'm playing.
No. So this is a very valid question, Dharmendra. And this question, I have an answer for that. So one thing is that you have been in the photography business for how long?
Actually, I'm doing since 1986. As a freelancer, I started with media, newspapers. So all my photographs were like like a story base. All the photographs were having a story to communicate. That's how I
Okay.
got into the magazine. But my magazine was a very high lifestyle, so we were considering high life people. So I was only shooting those kind of people. But there, I was not going to take the appointment of the people. It is the magazine who fix up the appointment, and people know that yeah, this is a reputed magazine, so they give a time. But if I go and meet, even I try to meet those same people again, that I'm doing freelancing. If any shoot, let me know. Uh, you don't get access to those people easily. Mm, I mean, right from Mr. Bachchan to Ambani to you name all top people I have shot, uh, and you can't go individually to them because it was a magazine. They were giving a proper reply in the right manner, but as an individual, it is a very big challenge. And when I try to meet a clientele who is considered to be the good clientele for me, also it is difficult to access their data or meet them, show your work, or communicate to them. Because again, the kind of the clientele that we are looking for, they hire either PR agency or the wedding planner or these people. So at the end of the day, I think I have to only meet these people, wedding planners or uh, anybody who's into the PR companies of top people or any corporate business.
So you've got half the answer already with you, Dharmendra.
Okay,
My question to you is, if Amitabh Bachchan was to meet you,
right,
why would he meet you?
right.
What would his benefit be to meet you directly
Hmm.
and not go via the magazine? What is in it for him?
If unless I'm not giving him business, he will not like to. So of course, he also wants to see me as a business. If any opportunity I can provide, that okay, if I shoot your pictures, this will be published on the cover page of so and so. He will definitely like to do it.
Correct. So now the question is that you don't have a magazine. So you will have to, if you have to do this, either you will have to tie up with the magazine and shoot photographs for them so that they can use those photographs in the stories that they do. Now
Mhm.
the second question is, what is the benefit for the magazine to hire your services in spite of you being a freelancer and not go with their photographers that they may have?
One thing is my past experience and already done the photo shoot for many of these people. So at least they believe that he is capable of doing this kind of the work. It is a trust. I don't have to create a new trust to generate. There is
No,
assurance.
no, Dharmendra, you got to go a little more deeper.
Okay.
Why is it that they will need your kind of experience? What happens when you have an experienced guy doing these photographs versus an inexperienced guy doing this photograph? What is that specific objective unique aspect that you bring to the table which the others cannot?
If I have to talk about me, number one, I'm a one-man army, so I go very very small, very compact. Uh, my style of shooting is very fast, so I don't waste the time of the people. And number three, I only stick to my business. I'm not going crossing the line out of my business. So the maintaining the business privacy, I give very importance. So I'm not trying to chat about my personal talking to these all people. And once that they always have a very short span of time they give you for the shoot. That's where my expertise and my experience count. That okay, if the any XYZ celebrity say that we will give you only 10 minutes for the shoot, I say no problem. 10 minutes is a lot for me. I can finish my shoot in 10 minutes. So that's the one
Perfect.
thing.
Now, do these magazines have requests like this?
Uh, I tried few magazines, but I didn't got any positive answer from any of the editors. They say we will definitely think about it. Right now, we have in-house photographers, or we normally call the freelancers. So we'll also try and call you for that. But I have never got any opportunity from other magazines than my magazine.
No. So Dharmendra, this is what I would encourage you to do. I still don't know how the magazines operate, but I would want you to list down magazines
Hmm.
which which covers sensitive interviews,
Okay.
or who work with personalities who do not have time, and
Correct.
they interview people of that kind.
Correct.
Okay, list down those magazines. Why? Because those are the kind of personalities who are going to give them less time.
Yeah.
And then you approach them and tell them, if you want a shoot to be done in 10 minutes, come to me. I will be able to do it because I do XYZ.
Yeah.
Don't randomly go there and say, hey, you know what? I have worked for A, B, and C, and therefore you should work with me. If you have some work, do give. That's, by the way, conversation.
Okay.
Okay, you want to go to them and remind them of the problem that they face and why you are the right person to solve that problem.
Okay.
Okay, so tell them you want to meet the Prime Minister of India, who rarely does give one-on-one interview, and you've got like 10 minutes with him. Call me. I will be there at a drop of the hat. And this is how quick I can do it, because I have a setup of this kind. Because these are the kind of people who you can talk to and see. They will tell you that I could do a shoot in 10 minutes. So I'm like the 10-minute quick photographer. That should probably be your tagline. That should probably be your company's name. That is something that you should market.
Okay. So that become my, what do you call it, USP?
Yes. Now, if the perceived value of doing a shoot in 10 minutes
Yeah.
is whatever that is how much you will get paid.
Right.
Okay. But there should not be many others who are doing shoots in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
There should be something that you bring to the table that the other photographers that they have on their payrolls don't.
Right. Correct. Because the biggest competition which I see is technology becoming so easy, so user friendly, that even youngsters are able to give equal amount of result, if not 100%, but yeah, they can be very close to my result, or they can also save the time, because now the small gadgets also give great result. I mean, you can see bags are behind me, but today you don't need these bags. You just go with your one camera, one small flash, and that's all what you need. So things are becoming challenging. Um, yeah, but as you rightly said, that I realized with your talking to you is the magazine is the one area where I should target and focus. At least one area we know that, yeah, this is my hardcore specialization. I can talk to people, and after that, if there is any time, we can go to the other people who can be either into the similar business or close to the business.
Dharmendra, also there's one more thing that you just mentioned. I want to add something on that front also. If you feel that it's becoming easier for people to replicate your kind of photography using their maybe mobile phones, their iPhones or whatever,
Yeah.
then it's not important for you to continue to do what you're doing. And I will tell you, you can still make up a business.
Mm-hmm.
See, I often give this example, and I'm going to repeat for a lot of my audience here. I always say, you know, the Kodak failed.
Yeah.
Why Kodak failed? Because they thought they were in the business of reels.
Yeah.
They were actually not in the business of reels, but they were in the business of memory.
Correct.
It doesn't matter if the memory goes to people on a digital format or in the physical format, the reel.
You are right.
They did not understand that. So if I, as a consultant today, I have an expertise on designing processes and systems. My strength is my logic.
Mm-hmm.
Now I am currently using that strength and making money by consulting other people.
You're right.
But there is another way of using that strength, which is I pick up and do a business of my own. That could be a trading business, that could be a manufacturing business, and use my logical expertise on my own business to scale that up.
Right.
Instead of consulting others. In the same way, if you have photography is not only about the equipment, right? I have a DSLR by myself, but I can tell you I'm horrible at using a DSLR.
Right.
So it's also about lighting. It's also about the angles. It's also about how far you are and several other things, right?
True.
Now, if the equipment is becoming easier, why don't you teach people to use easy mobile phone equipment and still do photography of a professional style sitting at their home and open up classes to do that? I'm sure a lot of youngsters would want to enroll for it.
Honestly, again, I don't like talking anything negative. This is what I have learned in a couple of months. I was too much depressed, too much negative talking, and then I came out of it. So today, YouTube is the one medium which is like माँ के पेट से सीख के आया है. So youngsters, yeah, I mean, they will say we want to learn or we are interested, but every day they open the YouTube. हाँ sir, ये सब मालूम है मुझे. So like I know, like we are old school. I'm old school, so how to open the light stand or tripod also isn't skill. It's an art. For new generation, it's not so important. So they say we are getting a picture. Oh, इसमें सीखना क्या है? ऑटो पे डाल दिया, फोटो आती है. We know aperture is better.
Yeah, so let me tell you this, okay?
And I'm very good in.
Dharmendra, this is a perception. this is a perception. The world is too big, and there are too many people of different kinds. So I'm not saying that the kind of people that you are talking about don't exist. Of course they do. But then there are other kinds also that exist that will appreciate what you do.
Yeah.
The question is, where do you find them?
Yeah.
Okay. And how do you give them what you know?
Yeah.
Create an online course.
Right.
Put it up on Udemy. Put it up on Skillshare. By the way, do you know about Skillshare?
No, I've heard it, but I've never seen it. I've heard it.
So Skillshare has a lot of courses, online courses for people who are creative bent. And these courses, if I have to become a Skillshare student, then I would give for a membership fee, and I can access all courses that are there on Skillshare.
Right.
So the number of times your course is accessed, that much amount you will get from the total profit that Skillshare is making.
Yeah.
Yeah. So utilize things like this. What will happen is you got to figure out your niche either by yourself or by going to marketplaces like this. Okay. When you go to marketplaces like this, the marketplace will tell you, because only people who are interested will sign into your course. And guess what? You don't have to teach all the time when people sign into your course.
Right.
You teach people who are interested, and you don't have to search for them. They search for your course and they sign up.
Right.
You don't have to deliver that because you've recorded it once.
Okay.
And you can make money.
Okay.
Now, once you know that niche, then you can work with that niche and say, hey, do you want level 2? Then work on level 2 with me. Instead of trying to work with people who are not going to listen to you, I think it merits to have a smarter way to let people find you. YouTube is one more avenue like that. When I went on to YouTube, I thought nobody would like my content. I thought, why would anybody not know this? I have come from corporate, so I thought I'm too complicated for people to understand. And itna to malum hi hoga na, matlab who will not know? Ye jo main bol raha hu. I was under that assumption. But then there are people who don't know and who will appreciate what you do. Yeah. There is an audience for every piece of content. Correct. The question is, are you preparing that content and putting out there? So I would encourage you to don't think of people who are not going to buy it. There are people like that. I acknowledge that.
Yeah.
But don't think of them, because there is the other kind also.
Yeah.
Which we probably don't know how to reach.
Yeah. Recently, I have taken one course, which is the photographer from US. She's a lady called Sue Bryce. As you said that I have paid her membership, and she's got tons of her teachings, everything in photography. And I was very impressed with her teaching, number one. Number two, what was a challenge for me that today she's talking that maybe a 5 by 7 inches, not even an A4 size, or say, even if it is a A4 size, she is charging $275 for one photograph. Today, in India, people will say this is even expensive for my entire wedding photography. And then I started to understand that what she mean by charging this kind of the money. That's how I have joined her course. And I got more inspired with this teaching when she started teaching like this. So somewhere I was looking for, if not same dollars, but even in rupees, because kind of the expertise I have, I was looking out for this kind of the business. I mean, serious business. So if you can give any tip on, maybe I'm not comparing with her. I'm not comparing.
No, why not? No,
but
why not, Dharmendra?
If she is getting the money, this kind of money today, even in COVID, her business is on. Her studio is packed with appointments. Then I said, why not me? I mean, if her being lady who's experienced photographer can generate this kind of the money. She's charging $3,500 for entire package, $3,500. So I got inspired. And I say, yeah, if she can earn, then I can do business of photography. That's where I start. Photography is not the hobby, but it's a business.
Yeah.
And your expertise.
So Dharmendra, there are two things to this. Okay. First thing is, can you do this? Of course you can do this. She's got international market to her exposure. Can you have international market to your disposal? Of course you can. Internet has made things pretty easy for anybody to reach anybody and be able to market your services. The second part that I want you to say is, yes, you can achieve all of that, but what you're seeing is the tip of the iceberg.
Okay.
Which is the result that she's enjoying now.
Yeah.
What you aren't seeing is how much time and effort she took to reach where she's got.
33 years.
There you go.
33 years.
So 33 years,
yeah,
painful years
yeah,
of actioning, failing, solving, actioning, failing, solving has gone into, her reaching where she's got.
Yeah.
So right now for you, the stage is to figure out this formula, which makes up for profit.
Correct.
Okay. Figure out and see where you need to reduce your cost and how can you increase your volume and your perceived value and become a profitable business to start with.
Okay.
Then continue to work on that. These are the numbers that you got to control, because a business means numbers. If you're able to control these numbers and grow, you will automatically get your path, which generates healthy numbers.
Right.
And don't be stuck on saying, I will sell only reels. I will only sell photography projects. No, you may do it in any other way. Think of your core skill. You are somebody who knows what makes up for a good photograph, period.
Yeah.
Now, the moment you concentrate on that core, there are several forms in which you can make money using that core.
Okay.
You can become a teacher. You can teach somebody. You can maybe help somebody just do the photographs. You can help some studios do the photographs. You can help a company make better cameras of all you care. Because it all requires the core skill that you have. So don't restrict yourself to saying, oh, okay, I am going to use my core skill only in clicking photographs and generating money.
Right.
Don't discount the others. You never know.
True.
Yeah?
Yep. Makes sense.
All right, Dharmendra. So I hope this call has given you some insight, some movement forward.
A lot.
Wonderful.
It was
wonderful.
It was very valuable time you have given, and it's
Thank you.
Very positive. Yeah.
Thank you. Don't hesitate to reach out to my team. And in case if you want any further assistance, we also have some low value offerings that you can go for, and
Yeah.
evaluate that. If that works for you, if that is something that you see of value to your kind of business,
Yeah.
then take a call on that. And irrespective whether you have any questions or no, go to my website, ask me questions in the FAQ. I'll be very happy to answer them.
The last question, if you allow me,
Sure.
which, as I mentioned in the beginning, that I was thinking to redesign my website or to make a new website. Uh, I'm not getting enough support from my family or my close friends. They say, already you have one website, and then because that's on my personal name, and now I'm trying to focus on my Dharma Photo Film. You think that having a good website does help to reach the right audience and right target people?
Yeah, so I have a very simple answer on that, Dharmendra. A right website or a good website is relative,
Okay.
which means a website that you consider good, I may not.
Okay.
And I consider some websites good, which you may not.
Okay.
Right? So it's relative to who is coming onto the website, right?
Right. Right.
Now, unless you know who are the guys you want to work with,
Okay.
do you want to work with students who buy your online courses? Do you want to work with magazines who are dealing in fashion? Do you want to work with newspapers who are interviewing politicians? Who do you want to work with?
Right.
That, unless you decide, you won't be able to create a good website,
Correct.
because the
Correct.
good website is in relation to who you want to work with.
Yeah. Because during the discussion, I mean, this is a new point which got highlighted to me. I mean, I was not having this answer for so many days. Um, in this last 1 hour, I have realized that my strength, my hardcore expertise are from the magazine. Because if I have to see my own personal work, I have the work of magazine shoot. So maybe I should more focus on the magazine, or maybe I have to have my website which magazine people will see and call me for the work. Because yeah, I can do other work, but this is my, I can say, very big strong point. You raised it, that magazine with the who are looking for people with the short time who can shoot and having experience. So I will start focusing on the magazine, is the one part. Yeah.
Thumbs up. All the best,
Thank you.
Dharmendra.
Thank you very
Keep
much.
propelling.
Thank you.